Hey, David, good morning. Coach Thacker yesterday mentioned that he'll be looking this Saturday for the linebackers to create negative plays. Um, what do you see from your group, and how do you feel you can accomplish that?
I think I just lost him at the end of that. But can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So I think this is a team that the linebacker group can really get after. They have a great offensive line, big offensive line. Big strong team. But the way we're scheming things, I believe that the linebackers are going to be able to get a lot of pressure and a lot of tackle for losses. And that's the plan for me almost every week is to continue my productivity and getting tackle for losses. But as a whole, as a linebacker core, we're just a team that likes to run the ball. That's what we like to do. We like to get downhill and make plays. So we're excited for it.
Next question comes from Kelly Quinlan from Rivals.
David, do you guys like maybe getting something a little different this week in terms of an offense? They're a little more old school. I mean, I guess relative to like the spreads and the tempos in terms of how they play, they like to huddle and are pretty physical. I imagine that's kind of maybe a fun assignment for a linebacker in particular.
Yeah, I could give you a few reasons why I like this kind of offense. A, because I'm a middle linebacker, so they're going to run the ball more. So I get to play in the box, and then B, I'm not going to be playing 100-something snaps like I have previous games this year. But it's definitely as linebackers when you got a team that likes to come, to run the ball, get big personnel and try to run the ball. It's a challenge that we like to accept because it's our job to stop the run. So the front seven will be put to the test this week.
David, Coach Thacker also talked about their quarterback's ability to get out of the pocket and do some damage by keeping his eyes downfield. How important as a linebacker will it be for you to, keep your eyes in the right place, that type of thing?
Yeah, I think it's not as much just a linebacker. It's the whole secondary, the back seven. It's going to be, of course, the game is going to start with us in the front seven stopping the run. But what this quarterback he's exceptionally good at is, getting out of the pocket once he's scrambling and not looking to run, which he will, but he's looking downfield. He's very good about finding his wide receivers downfield, and he'll take a lot of shots doing so, but they turn into big plays. So for us as linebackers and us as DBs, we've really got to make sure that he crosses the line of scrimmage before we try to come in, contain him or get him down because he is always looking downfield. So we've got to plaster on and a lot of scramble rules and stuff like that we've got to make sure that we're locked in on. It's going to come down to eyes.
Next question from Ken Segura from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
Hey, David. You mentioned the eyes, and I want to ask about that further. Can you describe just the challenge of what makes that so hard to only look at the one thing that you're supposed to be looking at rather than looking in the backfield or wherever else?
Well, because a lot of people say like when you really understand football is really a simple sport, but at the same time, football happens. So you've got to play. They come out on a formation as a middle linebacker. I've got so they can do this, and that, but then they move, and then they move again, and then football happens. So when it comes down to it, is you got to know your job for the particular play that you've got, and you've got to assess what they're doing and what they end up in, and then you got to get your eyes right. And so that's the reason why all these offenses nowadays, they're moving pieces here and here, back and forth. They're switching running backs. They're all this different stuff is to get the defense to have to communicate a lot more, and that's what causes confusion a lot of times on the back end, front end, whatever it is it's all the moving of the offense.
Can I ask a follow-up? Do you think against Clemson it was the problem was more the pre-snap or the post-snap, ball fakes or whatever post-snap?
I don't think it was much pre-snap. If it was it was just miscommunication. So guys it's all about it. A lot of things for us right now is it's our eyes. So guys have just got to stay locked onto their guy. There's no relaxing. So we'll be really good on first down, really good on second down, and then some guys might relax. It's like you've got to keep the same intensity every single snap, not only with your physical play but with your eyes and with everything that you do, because if you relax a little bit, we're playing the ACC, everybody's good enough to expose you, so you got to stay locked in all the time.
Next question comes from Kelly Quinlan from Rivals.
I guess, Ken touched on this a bit, but like the pride factor after a game like the Clemson game as a defensive player, you were out for a lot of those snaps. I imagine that there's a real incentive to kind of turn things around and have a good showing this week after kind of get embarrassed like that.
Yeah. As in this program, you have a 24-hour rule to, from the prior game, and then we moved on to BC. Obviously, yes, Clemson game was embarrassing, and as a defensive leader, that's not something we want to put on tape and put on the field for our fans. But as we move on to BC, we're very confident, and we move in. The last time that we had for Syracuse that we didn't have the result that we wanted, we responded very well, so we plan to do the exact same with Boston College on Saturday.
Okay, last question for David comes from Ken Segura from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
David, along those lines, one thing that Coach Thacker mentioned yesterday was that on Monday, I guess, obviously it's your off day, but you have an opportunity to come in and I guess maybe get a head start on the weekend. You saying, I guess there were more guys in. Can you describe kind of what happens that day and maybe what you saw this particular Monday that might have been different?
Well, so we started this kind of a little bit last week, and we're just trying to get it going, but completely optional. It's totally player led, and it's just guys. We decided that we have a whole day of Monday off, and a lot of guys, some guys have more classes that day, some guys have barely any classes that day, and so throughout Monday there's particular time where there's no reason why everybody can't come in and get a little extra film. So we kind of started a little breakfast thing where we kind of meet, like 9, just certain times throughout the morning. It differs, but and we sit down and we watch them. And we just decide, it's like jumping ahead than you already have on Sunday, because obviously Sunday you watch some film, and then Monday as a whole defense, whoever can show up, whoever's not in study hall or whoever else, we show up as a defense and we watch it together to try to get ahead of the week so that we have a little better idea on who they are.
Hey, Jack. I was just kind of curious how you guys kind of hit the reset this week in terms of offense, and after a performance where you guys kind of struggle to move the ball, kind of what's the approach this week?
Yeah, we had a rough Sunday, but we were pretty frustrated and disappointed in ourselves. But we just have to bounce back, and Coach always says we have a 24-hour rule, so we can feel bad about it for 24 hours. Then we're supposed to come back and focus on the next game, and so now we're focused on Boston College, and we're trying to get back on the right track.
Next question comes from Rod McKenzie from 247 Sports.
Hey, Jack, you went up against one of the better defensive lines in the country. What was your evaluation of how you guys stood up against them, and what do you see coming up with Boston College?
Yeah, Clemson, they were very talented. They're really smart players, physical, but and we didn't play as well as we could have, I don't think, and it shows on film. And but with Boston College, there will be a challenge. They're physical guys, have a physical front, short, squatty guys that are really strong inside, and some good inside linebackers. So it'll be a test for us this week.
Additional questions? Another one from Kelly Quinlan.
How would you assess how the offensive line looks, however 5 games in now versus last year, just the kind of progression you've seen, being a guy that was a key contributor both last year and this year?
Yeah, I think we're light years away from where we were last year, and we're protecting the quarterback a lot better. We're getting a lot better movement, and I think it's shown on the field.
Another question from Rod McKenzie.
Hey, Jack, you got some quick running backs playing behind you. How long do you have to hold your man for those guys to get through the hole and get to the second level?
Yeah, it's crazy with a couple of those guys like Jameer and Dante. It's like when I'm out in space, I try to sometimes just stay out of their way because you don't know where they're going to go. They're so fast and elusive. So yeah, they're. I mean, they are really talented, and we are lucky to get to block for those guys.
Any additional questions for Jack? We've got one from Ken Segura from the AJC. Ken, you're muted.
I'm sorry. Not a fun question, but I'm curious. Obviously, you had a tough game Saturday, and I'm curious just like how after the game, the next 24 hours, whatever, what was that like for you, and kind of how did you make sense of it, or and kind of move forward?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like me personally, I was embarrassed. I know my teammates were. That's not how we want to set a good standard here, and Coach Collins has a vision, and we want to meet that vision and meet his standard. But I mean, like I said, we have to watch the film, correct our mistakes, and then look at forward. And we're looking to Boston College now, so it sucks, but now we got to get back on track because we have a lot of ball left this season.
Any more questions for Jack? Another one from Ken Segura.
Entirely different topic, but I'm curious, the travel protocol and the things you're doing, whether it's flying or hotel or whatever, what are the things that are kind of most different to you this year as opposed to the last few seasons when you've?
Well, like this year, if we're taking buses, like we're a lot more spread out. Like we took like 11 buses to Florida State, and like if as far as hotels go, we all have our own rooms. So like we're always trying to do the best we can to socially distance and just keep the right protocols.
Has it made just the feel of traveling and kind of the unity you had different, or?
Nah, it really doesn't. I mean, we're still like we still meet the same times, and just when we're not meeting and doing football stuff, we try to be more socially distanced, but it hasn't really changed that much for us.
Hey, Marion, good morning.
Good morning.
Coach Patno talked a little bit about, defenses are noticing that you can run by them. What are you seeing them doing to you defensively, and do you think perhaps maybe you'll get more involved in the intermediate game because of them taking away the deep route with you?
Yeah. So far, a lot of teams has been trying to advise me, meaning like one of them, takes outside, one of them takes inside, or any other variation that they like to put it. But, a lot of people try to take away the deep ball from me because of, how it was last year. But, I think it'd be a good thing, getting involved underneath. And, Coach Patno always has a good plan, for us. And I think, however he does it or however he will do it, he knows how to get players involved and, wherever it is and however we need to be. So I think, we can put a good game plan together where we can, start doing things underneath or, however he does it, just to, get me the ball in other spaces.
Next question comes from Kelly Quinlan from Rivals.
You got to show off your arm recently as you try to kind of have some versatility. Kind of what were your thoughts when Coach Patno put that play in, and kind of what was going through your mind on that play too? Because really you could have tucked it and ran it in, or you
Right.
decided to just go ahead and throw it.
So we've been working on that play for a while now, and I played quarterback a little bit, before high school. So I mean, it's always exciting for me to get to throw the ball around a little bit. So I was surprised, he said he was going to call it, but I was like surprised like he actually did it. Such a big game, Friday night. So when he called it, I was just like, okay, now it's time to do it. And me and Jalen Camp, talked about all week like, hey, we run it, like let's get a touchdown together. So, when he called it, me and Camp we already knew what was going to go on, and I just decided to be unselfish and throw him the ball, even though I could have, got me a quick one in. So, we talked about it all week, and I gave him a chance, and we made a big play.
Next question comes from Ken Segura from the AJC.
Hey, Ahmarean, I asked Jack this also. I'm curious, kind of not the most fun thing to revisit, but just, in the hours after the losing to Clemson, what sort of was your emotional state like, and maybe how have you tried to use that this week to move forward?
Right, so it was kind of a, it was a terrible loss, kind of embarrassing loss. But the thing about college football is you can't just dwell on, the game before or the past. So, we just decided, after the game, you know, we're going to put it behind us. We're going to learn from it. You know, we're going to get our minds, you know, ready for the next game and, you know, see what we did wrong. That's why we come in on Sundays to see what we did wrong, see what we can fix, you know, to help us have a better game. And, you know, I think we did that very well this week. We have a great plan going in. And, you know, I'm just happy on the way we took it, you know.
Coaches often say, and you know, it's never as good or as bad as it thinks. Were there things you saw they're like, oh, well, you know, if we'd done this or this, I mean, I don't know if it meant you would have won, but maybe, you know, it wouldn't turn out the way it did.
Mm-hmm. So we definitely had, you know, a few plays that we could have actually scored on. It's just, you know, some things just don't work out exactly how we want it. You know, just like the deep ball that I could have had, you know, during that play, you know, the wind kind of picked up, so it was kind of like crazy. The wind was going crazy on that play, so it really took the ball. But, you know, it's a few things that we could have done a little bit better that, you know, I'm not saying we would have won the game, but it would have probably looked a little better, you know, just us, you know, fixing our mistakes, you know, as a group and, you know, just trying to be better.
Next question comes from Kelly Quinlan from Rivals.
Boston College has some talented corners and nickel. Kind of what have you seen from them on tape as you kind of did your scouting?
I think they're very athletic, you know, on the back end. I think they play well in their technique. You know, I think they're great corners, and they have a few great nickels, you know, that can really cover. You know, it's just us sticking to our game plan and us being able to do what we can do best. You know, just to, you know, get ourselves open. So I think they're in the back end. They have a pretty well defensive back, and we just, you know, got to play our game and, you know, have success.
Another question from Rod McKenzie.
Yesterday, Coach Thacker talked about it, Tuesday being a pretty physical practice.
Right.
What did you notice from the defensive side of the ball as far as rebounding from the Clemson game?
Okay, yeah, like he said, Tuesdays are always our full padded practice, so, you know, we're getting after it, you know, team on team, best on best. And, you know, like I said, like after the game, you know, we weren't dwelling on the game. We just come ready to work, you know, that next week. And we were just physical periods, physical practice, you know, not thinking about what just happened. We're looking forward to Boston College. So I think Tuesday was a great Tuesday, you know, one of the best ones we had. And, you know, I just think we should just keep that same energy moving forward.
Couple more for AB, starting with Ken Segura from the AJC.
Yeah, I was wondering the flow of practice during the week. How is it different this year than last year, and maybe what sort of impact do you think it's having on the team's play on Saturday?
Yeah, so now we wear face guards, you know, on our helmets. Sometimes makes it harder to breathe. So, you know, the coaches know how to manage practice and, you know what we should and shouldn't do, or like the tempo of things, you know. Like they manage our tempo, you know, we just go all out and, you know, they know when, you know, we need a blow and, you know, this and that. But, you know, usually last year it was all out go, you know, just every play, full speed, go, you know, but now, you know, we're slowing it down a little bit, starting to get more mental reps and, you know, just whenever we're getting in, going full speed and, you know, letting them control things.
Can you see that? Can you feel that in your legs at all in games?
Oh, yeah. Like we usually, like last year Thursdays it will be still crazy, you know. Now Thursday, Fridays we tone it down a little bit. Even Wednesdays is not fully padded. We're just uppers, just shells. So, you know, they do things to help us, you know, feel better, and they take a lot of feedback from us, you know, which just helps the whole organization. So, you know, I think they do a good job on how they manage it.